come. We don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you're one and only master. Hey, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With the armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing yarnness on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. I'm ready to rip. I'm correct. A fish in the water. Hit my mark. Took in its head. Indian honest. Where my Honda strapped in harness. Ready to rip. Hey, jump on that track. Ready to roll. Ready to rip. Ready to reach. Place my bets. Hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal. Peace with the soul. Don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no. Don't trip. Gotta get, gotta go, go. Take a slip, make a pass in the low, low. Put it down the gas for a show, show. Slide a pass in the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the photo. Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you're one and only master. Hey, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With the armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing yarnness on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. I'm ready to rip. I'm correct. A fish in the water. Hit my mark. Took in its head. Indian honest. Where my Honda strapped in its harness. Ready to rip. Hey, jump on that track. Ready to roll. Ready to rip. Ready to reach. Place my bets. Hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal. Peace with the soul. Don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no. Don't trip. Gotta get, gotta go, go. Take a slip, make a pass in the low, low. Put it down the gas for a show, show. Slide a pass in the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the photo. Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you're one and only master. Hey, God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With the armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing yarnness on my chest.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we are still here, ladies and gentlemen. We are still ready to rip. Oh, yes. Oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. And hold on, actually. We got to change just a little something. Hold on. We're rushing. We're trying. We're not rushing like Russian as you may be thinking, but we are trying, as you see below on the bottom of the screen, the ticker's rolling. Special Chili Boat Trip contributors. Those are the guys making it happen. Yes, sirree. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it is happening. Me and Sean. So I'm going to have my Asian protector, my Asian assassin with me. So just look out now. But we will be at the Chili Bowl tomorrow night. We will be leaving Knoxville, Iowa tomorrow and arriving into the building Friday. So it'll be a very interesting time. It always is at the Chili Bowl. I'm at least guaranteed 5 or 6 almost, getting swung on situations. At least a good 10 to 15, maybe sometimes 20 people yelling and yapping in my face. And so far, we've only been kicked out once, but we were allowed to go back. That was at the shootout. We got kicked out over the Brexton Bush situation, and we returned for the Chili Bowl 2 weeks after that occurred, or a little over a week after that occurred. So hopefully everything will go great. Hopefully we'll have a good time. We do plan on potentially mending the fences between Connor and the Ramey camp that we've been documenting that story and that situation all week. Seems like everybody's under agreement. Seems like that'll be a really good thing to potentially get everybody on camera there instead of yelling at one another. That's why I paid attention to it so much, is because I knew everybody in the frame. I was like, oh, my God, that's Kevin Ramey. Oh, my God, that's Connor. Why are they mad at each other? These are two good people that I know that are good people, so what the hell's going on? So that's why it meant something to me. The flow cameras and everybody, they didn't care. They just got their clip and went on, didn't care to find out what happened and why. But we got to find out what happened and why, and we'll be there in person tomorrow. Now, of course, tomorrow there's going to be a lot of things happening at the track, and then Saturday there's going to be a ton of things occurring. Friday night, it'll be probably my only night to go out and enjoy things. We'll see. Friday night could be weird, could be crazy. Hard Rock Casino, maybe another Waffle House viral video moment. Remember about 3 years ago, me and Kevin Woody, we went viral to the point there were news stations calling Kevin Woody, trying to get him to narc on me. Not necessarily narc, but try to get him to socially spin on me. I believe the videos, or the video that got out there reached around 35, 40 million people. We've had a couple of instances this year where we went viral on a few videos, TikToks, Facebooks, probably around the 60 million mark between all the views and all the viral clips that we've been a part of. Most of them in the shorts form, in the TikTok, in the Facebook reel departments. But maybe we can kick off 2025 with a really good little short video of who knows what, anything from Tyler Carpenter talking about shorty shorts to Henry Chambers, who is there in the building. We may have another follow-up with him. There's been a ton of social takeoffs here in 2024. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do, or there in 2024. Here in 2025, we'll see what we can do. It'll be fun, but the Chaz is coming. And once again, contributors to making this happen are in the description lining down there. If you still would like to contribute, because we're doing it on a shoestring budget, damn it, still. I mean, we haven't even booked the hotel. We're trying to find the cheapest damn hotel there is due to funding of doing this trip on the whim. Didn't plan on it, but we're doing it. Venmo, PayPal links in the description to join direct support of the show, and we will see you come Friday night at Tulsa. Regardless, already the contributors have done enough and made this thing possible. Anyways, Chili Bowl night number 4 was a very interesting show. Thorson thinks and Bernal firefights and Friday. So we have a lot of things here lined up to talk about. It is kind of a late night, so we're going to try to get into the things we have lined up here to talk about before we get to sleep and then on down the road. Obviously, if you watched it all, Tanner Thorson was the man. He got it done, and I think this was a very, very impressive win by Tanner Thorson, and this whole race night was unbelievable. I thought Tanner Thorson would have the edge, but he did it in the beginning. You heard the Flow announcers who were doing a hell of a job tonight. They had some subs in there. Maybe they got to have a break for once and clear their heads. But you saw them mention how he is a, knob turner on the shocks, high limit with their adjustment this year to adding in-cockpit adjustments with the shock setup. I think that's going to benefit Tanner Thorson potentially this year, because beginning of that race, Tanner didn't look like he really had anything for Bell or Carter Sharf or the little baby shark or whatever it is. He didn't really had it. It was kind of like Larson, and I think this is the difference between a Kyle Larson or a Chris Bell or a Tanner Thorson. I think there's a line there. I think that a guy like Tanner Thorson has the edge on some of these guys because he's had to bust his ass on his racing equipment, build it, make it, tune it. He's a crew chief driver, a crew chief driver in this situation. And, for instance, on Monday when Kyle's car wasn't all there, if he had the knowledge of a Tanner Thorson, there could have been some adjustments made in the car to, have Larson's win on Monday be a little easier. I think that's kind of what happened here with Tanner Thorson. Didn't really have the car, but he had the smarts, the wherewithal, the knowledge to tune on that race car to be able to go and outrun the rest of the field. Now, he had some challenges. There was definitely some challenges along the way. This was no easy feat with Tanner Thorson winning this, but it was very entertaining, very great, very grand. There was some guys who didn't necessarily have the best of luck. We just mentioned him, the baby shark here, Carter Sharf or Sharf. They're saying Sharf. To me, it reads Sheriff, but it's fine. Tomato. But he was probably the most impressive driver in the field tonight, I thought. I thought he had a chance to win it. He was fast early on. He looked to be better than both Bell and Thorson. Bell looked very smooth. in the groove. I'm going to give a shout out to his page here because this guy, he has barely 2,000 followers, guys, on his Facebook page. I mean, socials matter to these guys. So there's his Facebook page. Go give him a follow. He definitely put on a performance that was worth following. Another one of those guys with a lot of talent, maybe not the marquee backing or name. I mean, I know he was in a Briscoe car, but Briscoe's a pretty good guy as far as rewarding sincerity. So go ahead and give the Shark, they're calling him, Carter Sharf, Motorsports, a follow on Facebook. Very impressive tonight, extremely impressive on the racetrack. Another driver who was impressive but did not have the luck on his side, and people thought this was going to be a fight. This is Parker Jones, a Facebook post they put up. Unbelievable, they said here. Parker had driven a perfect race and was challenging for third when contact was made, officially scored 18th. And we've seen this 41 car run over the years. It had never been performing on that level. It hurts, but these are the types of deals you bounce back from and become stronger for it. On to Saturday at the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. You know, and they mentioned it in the broadcast booth as well. The contact he had there with C.J. Leary. Alex Bowman Racing has had the worst absolute luck of anyone. I can't remember a full entire team going to the Chili Bowl with premium rides and just absolutely getting demolished. Not even on their own bucket. Now, obviously, Briggs Danner, he overdrove like I wasn't trying to be mean the other day. I think he overdrives. Maybe I was mean to the point. Maybe he'll change next time, But coming off the corner like, oh, nope, that asshole's going to say something if I go in here and just balls to the wall it. But outside of his situation, KTJ had an issue at the beginning of his race. And now the situation, unfortunate collection there with C.J. Leary. But the 55 cars have just not finished where they should be finishing. And this guy right here being caught up and collected in the bad luck, I mean, this guy was putting on a show. I was like, who is Parker Jones? Who is this guy? I was wanting to know more. Once again, another guy who deserves a follow. Go check him out. Only 1,000 followers from the Wisconsin area, Badger country up here. So go check this guy out. Go follow him. And I'm not sure if this is because they were talking about this as well. It looks like he runs the midget series up here in the Wisconsin area. So looks Angel Park Victory Lane there. So go give this guy a follow. And the reason I say they were talking about how the Wisconsin midget motors are not the national midget level motors. So would be interesting to find out, or if anybody knows, leave a comment on if this guy had a basically a 50 horse, 75 horses down on the rest of the field and was doing what he was doing out there running third against, big teams like Bowman and Bell and all these guys. So very impressive if that is the case, but go over there, give Parker Jones a follow. Definitely had some bad luck. Not going to say Christopher Bell had bad luck here. We do have him pictured on the screen. Flow Racing posting how the drivers were taken over there. It was pretty good for the drivers to step on in. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did a great job. Actually, like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a lot. Corey Day, you can always just see the confidence / cockiness barrier in Corey Day's demeanor. It's very hard to understand, although I think he's good-hearted. Clinton Boyles and Big Al in the booth. Hank Davis was the reporter, and Alex Yankowski, up-and-coming big block modified driver who didn't really perform well on his qualifying night the day before. But I really wanted to picture this because, Christopher Bell was oddly happy to run third. Like, it is so crazy to see Christopher Bell that enjoyable. If anybody remembers Christopher Bell prior to this situation, if Christopher Bell didn't win, he was pissed. He was mad. He wasn't all smiley. Christopher Bell used to walk around the Chili Bowl pitting area with a fucking I'm an asshole face. Leave me alone. And just to see Christopher Bell, and maybe that was God or something. Maybe that was, this whole dirt track takeaway deal. Maybe because of that attitude or demeanor that Bell used to carry himself with, God was like, oh, you don't appreciate this shit? All right, I'm going to get, just overall runner of everything, God, Jesus, whatever, said, all right, we're going to take this shit away from you. You're going to appreciate it. You know, and if that was a greater powers plan, it worked. You know, because the happiness that Christopher Bell is displaying right now. Every time he's on the camera, I've heard and talked to some people. They're like, "Dude, Bell's walking around happy. I've never seen this. This is fucking crazy." So maybe this whole deal, with this takeaway of dirt racing and the leash coming off finally, and he's coming back, makes him appreciate what he once took for granted potentially. But it is crazy to see how happy Christopher Bell is. Of course, KKM missed out on another lock-in spot. So right now, I believe the only lock-in driver is who was it that won? Oh, dang, mine's slipping me for a second. But I believe they only have one driver locked in at the moment. So unfortunate for KKM. They're obviously bringing 16 cars, and they want to lock them in every single time. But for the unfortunate fact of the scenario, it hasn't worked out, you know. And I don't blame Keith Coons. You know, they showed that old picture where it was just him and his own race car, and he's built to where he is today, and a lot of people have helped him get there. So you'd like to see the cars do a little bit better, but hey, Christopher Bell was still happy about a third. I don't think we have seen high-profile NASCAR drivers who are used to dominating dirt come back and just smile when they're losing. So it was very impressive to see that reaction. Probably the most impressive thing of the week, though, was this drive. This drive by Ryan Bernal to sneak around Christopher Bell late was extremely impressive. And you know, the old lineup that used to come out with Matt Wood Racing always felt like Ryan Bernal was the better of most of the guys. You know, Golubic, a wing guy, just name it. Golubic, Kobe Copeland, you know, wing guy, really. But Ryan Bernal was this non-wing, wing kind of crossover driver, and you would think that he would perform very well. And he always, traditionally, from my recollection, has. But to drive around Christopher Bell shows a threat to potentially win the whole damn week. And this Matt Wood Racing situation is just crazy. And Ryan Bernal, in particularly, you know, I got to know some of his sponsors and close personnel in Hollister, California, I believe a region where he's from. I spent some time there, actually do some business still to this day with some people from Hollister, a couple businesses actually. But Ryan Bernal, for those who don't know it, is at the time, I don't know if he still is, but he has or is currently a California firefighter. So that's another element or angle to this whole thing. I don't know why nobody mentioned it in the broadcast, but obviously with the fires and everything that is happening in LA right now, that's a pretty, another cherry on top to the emotional aspect of this Ryan Bernal performing the way he did tonight. Obviously coming from the state that's suffering a lot of losses in the moment. But when I think about this, I think about a video that I scurried across earlier today, and I want to show you people. I don't know if it's factual or not, but it made me think. It's like, I can't mention he's a California firefighter without showing the fans, the people, this crazy video on TikTok. I know this TikTok that it's going away, guys. This TikTok is going away come Sunday. I don't know if y'all have seen the news or the headlines, but TikTok, if not sold, probably to the United States so they can control it to manipulate more people. But if it's not sold to an approved United States owner, TikTok will be banned come this Sunday. So all the way through Saturday, we get it, Chili Bowl, all that. But Sunday, it's going to be banned. Then Trump comes in on the 20th. Even though Trump's talked crap about TikTok, I think one of his first little, notches in the mantle will be some kind of way to bring back TikTok. Maybe Elon will buy it. Everybody will love that, I guess. But at the end of the day, this TikTok video about the fires in California, this is a very interesting thing that this guy describes. I had no idea about it. But give it a little quick listen. It's only a minute long, but I just felt like I had to play this tonight.
Please, for the love of God, tell me that I'm wrong. Did you know that in 2028, the Olympics is going to be held in Los Angeles County? But not just Los Angeles County, but it includes all of the northern regions of Los Angeles County. Places which include the Pacific Palisades, the San Fernando Valley, and Altadena. With just so happens to be the place that is burning right now. And then I keep hearing about 2028 Smart LA, which is Governor Newsom's plan to prepare Los Angeles County and all the surrounding areas for the influx of millions upon millions of people that will be coming for the 2028 Olympics. And Newsom has emphasized for a comprehensive recovery plan, which he's calling the Marshall Plan, for, get ready for this, LA 2.0. The entire reconstruction, which would cover over 40,000 acres. I mean, this is just for informational purposes only, but it's coincidence until it's not.
Oh my God. God, I know that just sounds so crazy, you know. Property values, if you're trying to reconstruct or you're trying to plan long term, you know, you don't want to pay top dollar for them. So how do you drop the value and clear out this area that you need to adjust? Man, this is why they may be taking TikTok away. Too much information. Based on researching this, yeah, there's some bullshit information out there, but based on looking into this, everything he's kind of saying is correct. But they're taking away the informational platform that they don't approve of the ownership, which apparently is China and all that, but who knows? There's double agents all the time. You know, the movie Salt, it teaches us this. But just a crazy recollection here in this situation here. So we are getting some information in the chat on the driver of Parker Jones. A Badger midget engine from a builder cost around $6,500, so I imagine it has a lot less power. So it'll be very interesting to learn potentially if that Parker Jones car that performed so well tonight and almost was in the top 3 front row of a B main was a $6,500 motor. Anyways, back to the situation at hand. Yeah, that just blew my mind about learning this, but TikTok, the informational highway here, going to be going away come Sunday. That may be the last video they will ever want us to know about. On the other platforms, they just, you know, ghost them. But anyways, outside of Ryan Bernal being a firefighter, we do have to give a big shout out to Matt Wood Racing. I mean, this race team has come into the Chili Bowl over the last few years and done very well. But this year, they are above everyone else. All the big hitters, the KKMs, you know, the RMS team, the RMS, I don't know what's going on. Sweet, Baston. Baston was a big underperformer tonight for me. I thought he was going to do extremely well. Brady Bacon's team, he had horrible luck, but he did bounce back to a 10th. Good run by Frank Flood as well in this A-main. Got to give a big shout-out to Frank Flood. He came from the back. A lot of movers and shakers in this main event that had one of the best races of the week for sure, especially considering for the main events. But Matt Wood Racing has come in here, put Landon Brooks in with the win, put Shane Golobic in, and then also, tonight, Ryan Bernal getting around Chris Bell and getting it into the show. And this is one of the most impressive teams that we have seen come into the Chili Bowl as far as how they set up and everything, but also performing on the racetrack. They are solidifying themselves as a dynasty, I think, potentially, in this building. They just got to get the win. You know, they just got to get the win. And if they can get that out of the way, and it seems like they're in a hell of a position right now with some pretty damn good drivers up front, obviously a West Coast invasion kind of, they could potentially do it. I know Broke Joe's over there probably cheering, even though he may not like Shane Golobic. He does like Landon Brooks. I don't know how he feels about Ryan Bernal. But, you know, this West Coast, the hitters come from over there. You're used to those short tracks and those wing 410s and 360s on these get-up-and-go bull rings. You jump in a midget at the Chili Bowl. This is just Cadillacing around there. You know, you're used to 2 layers cushion and its wave and the daring driving tactics you have to perform well on the West Coast. This is why a lot of West Coast drivers go out into the rest of the country and kick some ass. And they're doing it here on the Chili Bowl level. So we got to give a big shout out to Matt Wood Racing. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that they are done there, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to segment over into Friday night's entry list. Obviously, Kyle Busch entering and performing is the main driver that everyone's paying attention to. But guys, there's some guys. There's obviously Johnny Murdoch leads the field. I don't think that's going to be too impressive. But Glenn Stiers, the GSR, the owner of GSR there, going to be bringing the World of Outlaws to Canada. That's a big shout out, big deal they got going on up there across the border. I potentially will be going. But this field on Friday tomorrow night that we are going to be there in person watching. We'll be watching as we go down the road. I don't know if we could do a show while we're going down the road. We might have to try that. But let's just go down the list here, and I'll point out to you some of these guys that are going to be very strong. I think that right there, right off the get-go, even though you may not think it, I think Michael Facento is a contender. You know, he's in the trifecta motorsports cars. We've seen his history in the Tulsa Shootout. We actually saw his history at the Chili Bowl. He is the original OG for that word. You know what I'm talking about. You also have Jason McDougal on the card tomorrow night. Ronnie Gardner. These are two contenders. Of course, Ronnie Gardner is in an RMS car. They have, in my opinion, they've been sub-performing for RMS this Chili Bowl season. And Jason McDougal in the Ramco cars, they've had some strong runs, but they haven't had an A-main hitter run. I think that could potentially be one. Jason McDougal in that building is deadly in any race car that you have out there. But Ronnie Gardner in an RMS car, that is extremely dangerous. That is a threat. I didn't even know that was a team or a combination there. But Ronnie Gardner in the RMS, that's a sleeper right there, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Abbey in a Beeson Hard 8 car. Keep an eye out that he's a fendered phenom. Kyle Steffens has drove a lot of winged or non-winged Silver Crown races this year with his modified and everything else like that. So got some open wheel experience. He should improve. Caleb Montgomery, one of those West Coast race car drivers. He's in one of those JFM cars. Those are traditionally the 73s that Hunter Schoenberg was performing in well, I believe. Don't hold that to me, but I believe that's what the JFM cars. But he could be good. He could be potentially a threat. Andrew Felker is always a threat to potentially be up front within the top 4 or 5 of an A-main event. Don't want to sleep on him. Santino Ferrucci, he's an Abacus car. This is what I'm being told, one of the most talented Indy car drivers and kind of the black sheep of the family over there. He's kind of rejected by some of the more high-class falutin people. Kind of tells it like it is character. Somewhat of a Kyle Busch-esque style attitude. I'm being told, this is not me saying that, but that's who the Santino Ferrucci technically is. It'll be interesting because I think you need that level of aggression in some kind of way to drive these dirt cars. Kyle Jones, obviously, going to be there. He's always good in a midget at the Chili Bowl. Hayden Reinbold is there. Joshua Shipley, non-wing sprint car. He's had some good sensation over there in the Arizona area. Landon Simon. And there is, first of all, right off the gate, this is going to be one of those combos that I think is going to shock the building. I think that Matt Wood Racing is not done, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason I say that is because of this bad son of a bitch they got behind the wheel right here. And that's Darren Pitman. Guys. Yes, Darren Pitman is driving a Matt Wood Racing machine. Ultra Shield, the sponsor. This is the vehicle right here. Darren Pitman is one of those sumbitches that is just that damn good. And he is in a stable that right now, in my opinion, is the most dominant stable of the 2025 Chili Bowl so far, Matt Wood Racing. Now, Darren Pitman has traditionally performed extremely well at the Chili Bowl. He's fresh. We saw him jumping into the 69K last year. When he's fresh, he can be right on it. Sometimes a break's a good thing. Not as burned out as some of these guys just burrowing up and down the road. So to me, this is a sleeper that most people want to see as a sleeper, but they're not paying attention to, especially with some other drivers on the list that we're going to talk about. But Darren Pitman, I'll tell you right now, in this Matt Wood Racing stable, this, in my opinion, is a threat to win this race tomorrow. 100%. Obviously, he's in his home state as well, Oklahoma. Of course, he's relocated to Tyler, Texas for Ultra Shield. But originally, from Oklahoma, he's always performed well. We usually see him in the American Bank cars. That's not happening. You obviously do see American Bank on the car. I believe it's American Bank of Oklahoma. But keep an eye out for Darren Pitman. That is a threat to potentially win this Chili Bowl tomorrow, or this especially the prelim night tomorrow. So Darren Pitman in the 21 car. Mattwood Racing. That's the pictured look. Let's see. We go down the list here. Another one right there. Silva Motorsports, Tyler Courtney. Now, Tyler Courtney is in one of those Eagles, these, cars that can't win the Chili Bowl, that not even Kyle could win in. And Kyle, I didn't see Kyle have the speed on Monday that I've seen from other guys running top two the rest of the week. Not the speed. I would say he didn't have the car, but not the speed. These cars and the drivers combined to set a tone and set a pace, and Kyle Larson's tone and pace was not grand. Tyler Courtney was in this midget, I do believe, on the entire West Coast swing here in November with the USAC National Midget Tour, the Turkey Nights, the Merced, all that. He didn't really do anything special. I don't think that these EMI midgets are good enough to contend, even with Kyle Larson behind the wheel, for this Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. And I think this is too much of a loaded night for Tyler Courtney to be able to overcome the same things that Kyle Larson overcame on Monday. In fact, guy right below him, Ace McCarthy, I would put more stock. I bet you, I would bet Ace McCarthy outruns Tyler Courtney tomorrow night. He's in a Tanner Thorson car. We obviously see the speed of the car. If you told me who's more talented, Tyler Courtney or Ace McCarthy, I would probably side with Tyler Courtney. But Ace McCarthy is good. He's not Tyler Courtney. That's no disrespect. I'm just saying. But when I look at Tyler Courtney in these Eagle cars, and I look at Ace McCarthy in these Tanner Thorson cars, I'm leaning towards more that Tanner Thorson 28 car with Ace McCarthy is going to outperform Tyler Courtney in that Silva EMI Eagle chassis midget in the 23C. And that goes for a lot of guys. I just don't like this combination with Tyler Courtney in these cars. I think Kyle Larson's the only guy from what I've seen that can make those Silva Motorsport midgets run well. And he's doing a lot to even do that. That's just my personal opinion. We go down the list here. Dominic Gordon, another California ace. He's good. Taylor Courtney. Kevin Reed, 36. He's a pretty good driver. And then, of course, right below him, we kind of have to see this guy as a favorite, do we not, guys? We kind of have to, right? We have to see Logan Seavey as a favorite in this situation, do we not? Do we not have to see Logan Seavey as a potential threat to win this entire deal? I mean, first of all, let's look at how beautiful this damn car is. I mean, it's just it's so damn nice. Look at it. This is their little Swindell Speed Lab champion, race champion look. It's purple. Got some gold in there. The purple potion is amazing. And last year, for those who remember, CV did look a lot better in the Race of Champions, but the entire week went through, and come Friday, Logan CV absolutely just looked like another race car compared to everyone else on the racetrack. He just came out there and spanked everyone's ass. 100%. Just spanked their ass. And I don't know if that's possible. Like I said, the Race of Champions performance last year was way more impressive than it was this year. Obviously, people have had a year to dial their things in. But it's just like Brad Sweet in the World of Outlaws. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And the champ has to slow down. And it looks like he has. It does look like Logan CV has took a step back from his dominance and speed on the racetrack than he had over it looked like everybody last year. But the race night's tomorrow. We'll have to see. And this is a stacked night that will, in my opinion, definitely kind of tell who is a speed guy. Who's going to have that? Is Logan CV. If he's got some speed, you're going to need it tomorrow. And if he shows out, then yeah, you could put him as a favorite to win the damn thing. He is the two-time defending champion. Keep on going down the list here. Jace Park, another guy. Keep an eye out on potentially. In a Johnny Herrera car. Then you get here to Kyle Busch. Of course, everybody's wanting to see what Kyle Busch does this year. I mean, I wasn't sleeping on Kyle. I thought his performance at Bakersville, which is a little closer to the Chili Bowl layout. I thought his performance at Bakersville when he debuted with the USAC National Midgets was like, oh my God, we are about to see Kyle Busch whoop their ass. And I think Kyle Busch has the potential to do that. I think it will take time, but I think Kyle Busch is potentially, and I've said it before, one of the greatest asphalt drivers there ever has been. And when you are elite at any level, in any series, in any division, I mean elite, I'm talking about Kyle Busch level elite, not the other 10 or 15 guys you're thinking of, but Kyle Busch was elite. He was the best. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., some of these guys up there. Chase Elliott has proven himself a little bit on the dirt as well. Some of these premier guys, obviously Joey Logano, no. There's certain aspects I think he doesn't have the aggression. But a Kyle Busch level, who I think is better than everyone talent-wise that I just listed off on the asphalt, has the potential to show up and do something. And he's been on this track a lot in the micro. 2 years, I believe, now behind the wheel in a micro. I think he is accustomed to the midget. He's learning every lap. This is a smart son of a bitch that you can never doubt as far as racing, craft, and understanding and the ability to learn every single corner. It's very similar to Larson. But obviously he doesn't have a background of jumping into different cars, so it's a little bit more difficult for him to jump into different cars. So the processing is a little bit different. But I do believe that if Kyle Busch can process correctly, get a decent heat, run well in the qualifier, and learn continually every lap, he's only going to get better and better. That's the deal with this Kyle Busch scenario. Everyone else we're looking on the list here talking about, they are what they are. You know, their cars could get better. This or that, they get in a better car next year. Maybe that'll change how they run. But as far as the driver, Kyle Busch is the only guy I'm talking about right now that the driver is slowly going to improve. We don't know how good Kyle Busch could be in dirt track racing. Obviously, I think our competition is way more talented in dirt, so that's going to be a hurdle he has to cross as well because he's not used to having 50 or 60 guys in just as good race cars who are just as talented as him. He's used to NASCAR where there's about 5 or 6 cars that are really good and 4 or 5 good drivers in them. Most of the time, 3 or 4 good drivers in the good cars. There's good drivers in bad cars like him in the Richard Childress machine. Just like I said in the other video, Larson went from Ganassi to Hendrick. He didn't all of a sudden get any better. He just switched to a better car. Same thing has happened the other way around here with Kyle Busch. He went from a Joe Gibbs car to a Richard Childress car. It's a step down. And on that asphalt surface, you need that step up. Car is very much in control of what you do in the finishing order. But on this dirt deal, everybody can buy what you buy. There's guys who have set them up their entire life. There's guys who have raced them their entire life. And there's guys blatantly that probably have more talent than most of your NASCAR Cup Series fields because there's not this monetary wage gap to be able to race. You know, these midgets over here aren't affordable per se, but there's a lot of guys who couldn't afford millions to go to NASCAR that are over here racing in dirt cars that have NASCAR Cup Series championship contender talent. They just didn't have NASCAR Cup Series money. So not only is Kyle having to learn every single lap, but he's also having to adapt to a higher level of competition. And I think that's the bigger shock for anybody who jumps into dirt track racing in America. You may think it's some, Cars 2 rednecks in the woods going around in circles that are just doing it for fun and a hobby, and they're not that good. They're like flag football players that, wish they could have made it to the pros but weren't good enough. You jump down here in the dirt racing, and you find 50 to 60 here at the Chili Bowl, or you find 20 or 30 in 410 sprint cars, or you find 70 or 80 in super dirt late model racing that are some of the baddest ass drivers in the world. And I think that takes some adjustment to get into, especially for Kyle Busch, who's only been he's been running asphalt his entire career. He's only used to guys who can afford to run up front. Versus a guy like Kyle or Chris or somebody who's came through the dirt. They already know. They're used to that high level of competition. I think that's when they get to NASCAR and they only really have to worry about 10 or 8 guys. It's easier for them. All I got to do is outrun 8 people. This is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And I think that's also why dirt people has some extreme success when they go into the NASCAR ranks, because the competition level drops so much. The race cars determining how well they do. You know, so the dirt guys like, hell, just give me a decent, good car and I can at least try to win. I mean, Kyle Larson did win in the Ganassi car that should have technically never even touched the top 3 or 4 or 5. Anyway, I think Kyle Busch is a threat. He's just got to adapt to the race car. We don't know his potential yet. He obviously doesn't like the funding. He's in a good car, has good people around him. But even after he adapts to the car, where will he plateau, and where will that match up against the best race car drivers in the world on the dirt tracks? It's interesting to see. We go down the list here. Another guy I think that could maybe contend a little bit, do something special here, is Ryan Timms. Obviously, he came off of the wing season where he kind of bounced back. I think when most people say he bounced back in his winged racing, he's going to be in this JBL car. He kind of bounced back in his winged racing. We talked to him the other night. He called into the show while we were talking to Connor and having his fight debacle. But I think the morale with Ryan Timms has always been a factor. When I'm watching the guy go around the track, I feel like if you talk to Ryan Timms, you can almost feel how he's going to perform based on his morale. I think a lot of younger drivers are emotionally based, more so than the older drivers who are seasoned in those emotions. But especially they call it soft. I don't think it's soft. I just think the younger people are more in touch with themselves and how they feel, and it affects their performance on the track. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I personally think it's a good thing. But Ryan Timms, in my opinion, talking to him the other day, seeing his face at the end of last year running well in the high limit series and decent with the World of Outlaws, Ryan Timms' emotions are in a good place. And when Ryan Timms' emotions are in a good place, he performs really, really well. He performs championship level. He performs on an elite level. And that combination of success in wing racing, having a good emotional state, looking forward to the future here in 2025 with that West River car, that 10 machine. I think that adds to the potential that this car and Ryan Timms in the Chili Bowl, even though it's a midget, he's not going to race the rest of the year, which that may be a good thing for him. I think there's a big combination here where Ryan Timms could be, even though it wouldn't be a sleeper, he could be a contender to win tomorrow night's race. Or tonight's race, depending on probably tonight. Actually, tonight's race. It is 12:30 a.m., but when we get over there tomorrow night, I think I could potentially see the 67 of Ryan Timms do some damage on the racetrack and potentially win. And I think it's because of his emotional status in life right now and the outlook and future that he has hope for and appreciates more. He talked about it, how he appreciates the sprint car and the success way more now than he did before. You can go listen to that interview on the channel where we talked to him on the phone just the other night. So it was a pretty good interview. Go check it out. But Ryan Timms, keep an eye out for him. He's in a good state, an upward motion in morale and outlook. And I think with younger drivers, and particularly, that matters big time. Let's go down the list some more. We're almost to the end here. And then we're going to talk a little bit of some Lucas Oil late models. Before we get out of the picture, just a little tap onto the late model scene. You have Ryan Timms there. We're going down the list. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He's always very impressive at the Chili Bowl. Gavin Miller in here. Michael Pickens is also tomorrow night. They have a TBA on the number, but it is a KKM car. So Michael Pickens in a KKM. Michael Pickens is due to potentially win a Chili Bowl. This is one of the drivers that people would consider possibly one of the best midget drivers in the world. He has had bad luck at the Chili Bowl. He's performed well, but he's had bad luck, in my opinion. But if he gets going right in a KKM car, Michael Pickens could win the whole damn thing. This is a hitter for the KKM. He's in the Christopher Bell, Cannon McIntosh, kind of one of their grade A hitters coming out of their stable, I think, is Michael Pickens. Josh Most, this is the modified guy out of Iowa who always does well. Keep an eye out for him. And then, last but definitely not least, Justin Grant. So this is a guy here with Justin Grant who made the switch. He left RMS, this yearly partnership that they've had for years that have been very contentious for the Chili Bowl championship. Right there, almost every single year. But he made the leap to go after a USAC Midget National Championship. I guess he believes he's going to get that with CB Industries. It better pay off. It's a hell of a team to leave. We'll see what happens here. Justin Grant making this switch to the CB Industries 87. Is it the right move? Is it the wrong move? I hate to say it, but you come to the Chili Bowl with that switch and you don't perform well, a lot of doubt, in my opinion, a lot of doubt is going to be swirling around this choice to go to CB Industries before the year's even started. Now, obviously, it's a good team. It's a good car. We're not saying that. But sometimes, not necessarily luck. I'm not going to say karma because I don't think this was a heinous choice. But the mojo of the situation sometimes can affect things. So this was a big move to see Justin Grant go to CB Industries. And I think if this Chili Bowl isn't a Justin Grant typical Chili Bowl like we saw him have with RMS every year, if this is a barely making the A, if this is a 7th or 6th place run tomorrow night, or a 5th, struggling to keep up, if this isn't, if he doesn't come out the gate tomorrow with this new team and is contending for the win, because that's what we're used to Justin Grant being on Friday night. He's either winning it or contending for it every single year. And if he comes out the gate and doesn't contend for the win tomorrow night, I think that is going to definitely change the morale of this choice to go to CB Industries. That's just me. I like the guys at RMS. I think this was a huge loss for them. But this could be showing the grass ain't always greener on the other side, potentially. So I'm sure RMS isn't hoping that he does bad or Grant isn't mad at RMS. It's always been a great partnership. But the choice to go here, was it good or was it not? I think we will have a micro, and I know that some people are going to say, oh, it's the first, they're in a few races, it's okay. I'm just saying, in a micro dose situation, it's going to be, oh no, this wasn't the right choice. I know that that's going to be in the back of the minds because the switch was to go for a championship, but it's also to go for a Chili Bowl. The bigger thing in the year is the Chili Bowl. Who won the Chili Bowl last year? Everybody knows Logan Seavey. Who won the championship last year in the midgets, guys? Who won the USAC National Midget Championship? I guarantee you a bunch of you who are watching this right now are saying, oh, shit, I don't know. Who won it? Who won the high school tryouts? Which that's why I said it's a good thing he's going for a championship with a team. Maybe that's finally a priority, is National Midget Racing being a championship series. It's usually just a tryout division with a bunch of kids. But I'm just giving you an example on how winning this Chili Bowl is more important than a USAC National Midget Championship right now in today's society. If you want to win a championship that matters, You go to the big-time winged sprint car divisions. You know, a bunch of people in USAC land, which is basically Indiana, are like, oh, well, I know exactly who won it. But I'm telling you right now, there's a whole country out there that don't care. I would love to respect the sprint cars more, or I really love the Silver Crown cars. I know who won the championships, but who won those, guys? I ain't trying to get on the Silver Crown or sprint car hating list because the cars are amazing. I just think the promotion is not. That was the best clip of the year when Robert Ballou is going off about rules and referencing the World of Outlaws. We're not the World of Outlaws. You don't promote us. We're not promoted. Or he said, I think he said word for word is, we're not promoted like the World of Outlaws. Oh, you're damn right. You're not promoted like a big badass deal that matters. But once again, who won the championship in the midgets last year versus who won the Chili Bowl last year, the year before, Tanner Thorson and Kyle and Christopher Bell? We know these answers because it matters. So if they don't roll out here and perform well at this Chili Bowl, it's going to matter with this new pairing. By the way, the champion of the USAC National Midgets was Dason Persley. That guy. Yes. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the preview for the Friday night show at the Chili Bowl. We will be in the building tomorrow night. Maybe after all this stuff I say, like I just said, I just say what I think. It's going to piss people off. I'm going to be in some issues. We're going to have some problems with some drivers. They're going to be mad that I said what I just said and all this stuff. They're going to be upset about this or that or the other. When we get on here and shoot some jokes, somebody took them to heart and they're ready to whoop my ass. And that's fine. We're used to it. But you never know. You never know. I do think it's going to be interesting. My pick, if I was to pick tomorrow night, I'm telling you right now, buddy, I'll lay it off with who I think's going to get it. And that's that damn 21, the smooth operator, Owasso, Oklahoma's Darren Pitman and the Matt Wood Racing. Matt Wood Racing's about to overtake the Chili Bowl come tomorrow night. That's who's going to be your winner, in my opinion, is Darren Pitman. Now, that's a little bit of a sleeper / long shot. They're like, oh, my God. Matt Wood Racing, that car matters, big time. Darren Pitman, big time. I think the biggest shock tomorrow night, Tyler Courtney doesn't run in the top 10. I almost said doesn't make the A, but these qualifying prelim main events are relatively decent to get in. I think the driver's great. The car's junk. I don't think Tyler Courtney will finish top 10. That would be my prediction tomorrow night. I think it's too deep of a field. I almost want to say top 15. But that would be my shock. Or my two shockers, right? Darren Pitman winning would be a shock. Tyler Courtney not making the top 10 would be a shock, right? We're used to Courtney being up there contending for the win. But if Kyle Larson can barely win the races in those cars, Tyler Courtney ain't going to. Performed very badly. And I don't think it's his fault. I think he's one of the best drivers in the field here. If Tyler Courtney was in a Matt Wood Racing car, he's a contender to win the whole fucking thing. But he's not. He's in one of these Silva EMI Eagle cars that have never performed well. At least not on the level that you have to perform to win the Chili Bowl. So anyways. Before we do get out of here, we are going to check the chat here. Well, we'll check the chat right now to get y'all's Chili Bowl reactions. Looks like Colin Phillips did send a. You think KB has a good shot tomorrow? I think he could. We're gonna slowly see Kyle Busch develop lap after lap, and I think that eventually Kyle Busch is gonna plateau. But I don't think it's gonna be after this Chili Bowl. I think we're gonna slowly see him get better and better and better. This time next year, we'll know what Kyle Busch is. How will he stack up against the elite drivers of motorsports and dirt racing? That is to be determined. The competition level in dirt track racing is just unlike anything he's ever faced in his entire career. So it'll be an interesting thing. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for the sub, Sasquatch Kane. Sasquatch Kane. Sunshine makes the top 10, Chaz. I really don't think so. That Eagle is junk. Those cars are junk cars. Look what Kyle had to do. He had to drive the race of his lifetime to win the race, and had to have things go right for him too. I don't think Sunshine makes the top 10 tomorrow. I think the cars are junk. As you see it scrolling down the bottom, special Chili Bow trip contributors. Colin Phillips, your name is on the list. You did help out. Not a lot, not a bunch of money, some money. Anything helps right now. Hell, if y'all want to buy me a beer, go to Venmo and PayPal right now and send me $5 to $10. We could use it. But if you want to contribute to the trip that we're going to be going on tomorrow to the Chili Bow for Friday night action and Saturday action, links are in the description. Before we get out of here, I did want to touch on this subject, the Lucas Oil Series. Making the commitment, making Lucas starts, stops, and goes. This is something that I think some people should be thinking about, because obviously the Lucas Oil Series is supposed to kick off their 2025 season at Golden Isle. This is Ricky Thornton Jr. making a decision on if he's going to come back and run his Saturday events and try to go for the Soup. I believe he's in a C or a B main. Ricky Thornton Jr., obviously the 2024 Lucas Oil Series champion. The weather is iffy down there. Tomorrow night, it looks like they will run, but Saturday has a 60% chance of rain. But Ricky Thornton Jr., and when we had our interview with Tim McCready, these late model guys don't really commit to a series until after Florida Speed Weeks. It's kind of up in the air. They do, they don't. Some do. The mid-packers do for sure, but some don't. And we haven't really heard, and even some people announce that they are one way, and then after Florida Speed Weeks, they go the other. Now, this Ricky Thornton Jr. decision comes Saturday has been almost a question mark decision. They even said this on Dirt Vision, that if Ricky Thornton Jr. leaves due to the forecasted weather and potentially Lucas Oil somehow gets the race in without Ricky Thornton Jr., that he will make the switch to the World of Outlaw Series, potentially. Guys, if Ricky Thornton Jr. switches from the Lucas Oil Series to the World of Outlaw Late Model Series, and you got Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. at every single World of Outlaw Late Model Series event, Lucas who is really what I would say. Lucas who? I'm sorry, Tim McCready and all you people who may be committed to Lucas. But the eyes of the late model world are going to be watching World of Outlaw races like it's a must-see fucking event if you got Ricky Thornton and Bobby Pierce there every single week. And honestly, if that was to happen, the World of Outlaw Late Model Series almost became the A Series. I would say 1A and 1B, but I don't know. At that point, you got the two champions battling it out at every single one of your events. You're the A class now. And Lucas Oil would go to the B class, which Lucas Oil's been the A class all these years with their roster most of the time. Got a little closer with the surgence of Bobby Pierce, and when you had Madden and Shepard and everybody over there at World of Outlaws a couple years ago, it was maybe. But you throw Ricky Thornton Jr. on the World of Outlaw Tour, and it's over, Lucas. I'm sorry, Flo. I mean, y'all need to go over there to the 20RT camp and just throw them a bunch of money and say, please, whatever we got to do, you need to stay. Because if Ricky Thornton Jr. goes to the World of Outlaws, that's the knockout punch for the solidified dominance of the dirt late model world, period. We're not even talking about how the World 100 and all the Eldora events currently are sanctioned by Dirt Car, which is World Racing Group, which is World of Outlaws. Now, of course, Lucas would still have some races that are on off weekends for the World of Outlaws, and y'all have all the hitters there. And the schedules are relatively safe to where you could potentially run both series. But if Ricky Thornton makes the switch and you're guaranteeing me Ricky Thornton and Bobby Pierce battling for a championship without some weird format to end the year, a straight-up championship battle week in and week out, that is all of a sudden must-see late model series action. That is Swindell and Kinzer, Lucas Oil. That's Swindell and Kinzer. I know you got Doug Wolfgang, Jonathan Davenport over there, and he's a bad son of a bitch. I know Brandon Overton's coming and all that. They were great a few years ago. But right now in the world, I think in the world of the dirt late model minds, the two baddest motherfuckers running around these dirt tracks now in 2024 to 25 is Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr. Those are the men. Those are the defending champions of both series, and both technically, even though, well, I'm sorry about that. Bobby Pierce is not. Brandon Sheppard is. But in most people's mind, the 2023 Lucas Oil Series champion was Ricky Thornton Jr., and your stupid little race at the end screwed him there. And then, for some reason, the tire dope on Bobby Pierce's car, which obviously everybody doesn't believe that I've been talking to now, y'all popped him and he lost all those points in the series championship race, and that's how he lost the championship to Brandon Sheppard. So you got Bobby Pierce and Ricky Thornton Jr., who most people consider the two-time and defending champions of both series. The A-class guys. I know Davenport's a bad motherfucker at Eldora. I know he is, but Pierce and Ricky Thornton are the guys. So I don't know if this is a warning, but it is. Huh. This would be like, David Gravel or going to High Limit or Gravel and Hodden. I can't even compare. I got to put like 3 sprint car drivers together to equal the importance of Ricky Thornton being in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series Tour for y'all. Especially in the minds, the societal aspect of who guys are. This is Swindell and Kinza right now. And what is commitments? Who's even committed? I tried to go over here and see what Brandon Sheppard and the Rocket One's going to be doing this year, but I couldn't find anything. I know that they're down there at Georgia getting ready, but, I mean, some people are assuming Lucas Oil just because of the tradition. But honestly, if Ricky Thornton Jr. goes to the World of Outlaws, Rocket One, if he goes Lucas Oil, he's cherry-picking the series almost. He's got Davenport in Overton. I know that's not fair to say, but the World of Outlaws is the series you want to stay away from if you want to collect some wins in the championship, because it's going to be between Ricky Thornton and Bobby Pierce. So I don't know. Can somebody tell me if the Rocket One has verbally or publicly committed to Lucas Oil? I guess he says right here, launching our season with Lucas Oil, but you could technically launch a season with Lucas Oil because it's your first race of the year. So, I don't know. Did he say something here? No, it doesn't look like he did. But it's hard to tell. Like, we had our talk with Tim McCready the other day, and he said most everybody don't commit. They don't commit to one way or another until the end of speed weeks. So we'll see. And that is going to do it for the topics here today. We'll check the chat real quick. Oh, it looks like we got another chat from Colin Phillips. Thank you for the super chat once again. Why do you think I don't commit to a series in late models like they do in sprint cars? It's not. The schedules are very different. It's hard to commit to one or the other, because the Florida Speed Weeks is just so back and forth between the two series. And they have about a month straight of racing. So I believe the schedule goes Golden Isle this week. The following week is Volusia. Then I think it's like a Monday. The following week is like All-Tech, which is, so this week is Lucas Oil, obviously, at Golden Isle. Then it goes World of Outlaws at Volusia. Then it goes Lucas Oil at All-Tech and Bubba. And then it goes World of Outlaws at Volusia. And everyone will be there. Everyone will race everyone's races. That's why it's hard to say, kicking off the year, what's going on. So it's hard for a guy to really commit, because I believe if you count up all the nights, they race like 4 nights at each of these events. So you're talking about 20 nights of racing and probably 10 to 15 point nights on each side. Well, probably 10 point nights on each side. So if you go 10 point races in and you're down 500 points, you ain't going to stay and waste the rest of your year. This is why Tim McCready was saying people don't really commit truly until after speed weeks. They could renege. They could back out. He was talking about how they should, the Briggs team should entertain putting a deposit in with the World of Outlaws to get some of the comps back, just in case they decide to go the World of Outlaws if they're doing well in points after the whole speed week is over. The schedules are different, though. There's only 45 to 50 races in the late model series, World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil, that is. Whereas the sprint car, schedules are all year long. Like there's 90, 85, whatever races it is for the World of Outlaws. There's 65 races for High Limit. They're racing every single week. That's the late models. They do a couple weeks that Lucas Oil's on, and then they're off for 3 weeks. But when they're off for 3 weeks, that's 3 weeks the World of Outlaws are racing. So their schedules are kind of, working off of one another. They really don't race on top of one another a lot at all. Whereas World of Outlaws and High Limit will race on top of one another all the time. And I believe Tim McCready said you could logistically run both series the entire year. Like the schedules, I believe, line up to where you could run for the championship in both series if you want to run up and down the road all year long and do crazy trips. Sometimes it'll be across the country, but you could do that. So it's just a different dynamic. The sprint car world's still in a fighting kind of two-side deal. They're still slapping each other around and wanting to have superior dominance, where the late model world's kind of used to the relationship. They've been married for way longer. They've been it's like the sprint car world is a new relationship, and they don't know how to commit to one another and work things out. It's like first year, 2 years into the marriage. They don't know what to do. They're just mad and want to run shit. Whereas the late model world, they're 20 years into working together, and maybe early on they had issues, but now they kind of got to where, I want a driver here, I want attention here, but let's just work together here and do the best for both worlds. Now, there's still competition. There's still wanting to be some dominance. I think if they lose Ricky Thornton Jr., I think they would battle for a Ricky Thornton Jr., a real chip. But if they lose Ricky Thornton Jr., the Lucas Oil Series, say, for instance, they're still just going to go along because they know they're going to have Ricky Thornton and Bobby Pierce show up at their events anyways throughout the year. It's not a complete loss. Whereas if David Gravel goes to High Limit, it's a complete loss pretty much for the entire year. You're not going to see David Gravel at a lot of World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series events because of the scheduling. So I think there's a bunch of different differences, but I would say that's a pretty good analogy. It's like the late models have been married for 20 years and know how to deal with one another. And the sprint car world with High Limit and World of Outlaws, they just got married and they're just trying to, boister or run shit. They're trying to solidify who's the dominant motherfucker in the building. And some people think there's only room for one of us in the sprint car racing industry. And so they're trying to fight because that's what the sprint cars have been used to all this time. They've been a single stuck-up little bitch all this time, so they don't want to be married. We are the leaders. We're the king. We're independents. So the sprint car racing industry is used to being this stuck-up, independent, I'm the leader and no one else is next with me and working together. No, that don't happen. We lead. I'm the man. So even High Limit in itself is thinking that's what I need to be too. I mean, it didn't just stay a midweek series. It created a schedule split. Now, the World of Outlaws properly didn't want to give up half their season like they would have to have a similar late model national series schedule. Because if you wanted the sprint cars to be like the late models at all, the World of Outlaws would have to cut their schedule in half. And High Limit, in essence, would have to cut 20-ish races off themselves. And they'd have to work together on scheduling to not step on each other's events and make sure each other can be at each other's race. That's where the late model world is, right? That's where they're at. The sprint cars have too much ego. They have too much short man syndrome. No offense to Rico. I know I made some Rico jokes over the last month or two that pissed some people off. I've always joked with Rico in person about short people jokes. I don't know why that offended some people, but they have a short man syndrome complex to where they got to run shit. Fuck you. I think it's a lack of confidence, but I also think it's the World Outlaws trying to protect what they built, and it's a little more complicated, but these are the differences, in my opinion. So whatever series they have a better shot winning a championship, they make the choice that makes sense. Kind of like that. Somebody just said Lucas overlaps, probably, but not a lot. But the late model drivers, they basically go through speed weeks and they see where they're at in the championship. Like, you can't, if you have a horrible couple of nights in one series in particular, and you have a great couple of nights in the other series, and you're second or third in points in the World of Outlaws, and you're 15th in Lucas, why would you not switch? It doesn't even have to really do with competition or cherry picking. It just depends on how well you ran. So sprint cars is a single mom in her mid-30s, and late models is our grandparents with their marriage. Very similar, kind of. But, I mean, let's just say it. I mean, the sprint cars have been a successful single mom. You know, they've been a successful single mom for years. And they don't want to fuck that up. They don't want their independence to be fucked up anymore, any more than it's already been fucked with. This high limit deal came in with the midweek and asked for some cooperation and please just help with me and work with me. And, you know, Brad, this is how Brad proposed it. Just let your guys come and race. Tried to get that girl out of her ways. You know, it's going to benefit your people. It's going to make them more money. Let's all work together in a way. And the single woman said, "Fuck you, motherfucker." And then that guy was like, "Really, bitch? You really wanna act that way to me when I'm just trying to help you? I'm just trying to be kind." That's how it was proposed, at least. Is that the truth? Who knows? But High Limit reacted and said, "All right, then I'm gonna get my buddies and show you how badass I actually am." And now they're still in this marriage. They're married. You know, it wasn't like it was a jump-in situation. It was like they're together now. It's a scene. And yeah, now they're both still fighting and not willing to work with one another because this single independent bitch is used to being a single independent bitch, and that's how it's going to be. Fuck you. But who knows? Over the years, they could potentially be more like their grandparents that showed them how to do it the right way. Working together, giving and taking, being happy. So it's so like a toxic relationship. I would say that the current relationship between the World of Outlaws and High Limit is toxic. I don't know who would say it's not. They're both trying to run shit. In the analogy of the scheduling and everything, they're not taking weeks off for the other series. They're not letting each other race with one another. Or the World of Outlaws aren't letting their guys go. You know, they're still putting them on a leash because it's a control mechanism. They're not there yet. Should they be? Maybe the woman needs to be single for the rest of her life and die alone. I don't know. I mean, no, I'm just playing. But maybe the sprint car world operates better as a single individual on top. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. They're married now. High Limit's not going to go away. Flo has too much money for it to fail. Didn't Lucas have a drop your lowest points race during Speed Week? There is drop nights, but it's still to the point, guy. If you run bad a few nights in one series and you run well, like, I don't even care. If you're leading World of Outlaw points after Speed Weeks and you're 7th in Lucas Oil, that's a hard choice to make. The pay is very close. That's one of the things McCready said. The pay is it's way closer than it's ever been. Point structure-wise, nightly payout-wise, events-wise, they're very similar, closer than they've ever been, I believe is his actual quote. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'll tell you what, Ricky Thornton Jr. goes over to the other side. World of Outlaws, and I think Dean Henry, you were talking about, you know, Nick Hoffman over there. He's up and coming. A couple guys coming up. Ryan Gustin in there. Modified rivalry rekindled with Ricky Thornton. You put those guys over there, buddy. World of Outlaws is the must-see show every night of the week. Do you need to show up to them all, or can your absence race for a Chili Bowl get dropped? I don't think so. I don't. I'd have to look into it, but even the Dirt Vision guys was hinting towards if he goes to the Chili Bowl, that's a potential of us seeing Ricky Thornton Jr. make a switch. If he makes the switch to World of Outlaws and it's just him and Bobby Pierce, that's the show. That's the thing you must see. But anyways, guys, it is kind of late. We are going to be getting out of here very soon. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be going to the Chili Bowl tomorrow. So we won't be having the live shows. I'm thinking of finding out some kind of way to have a live show potentially We'll at least be doing some lives and some videos and some shorts. Pay attention to the Facebook and even here on the YouTube. Probably do a YouTube live, walk in the pits or something along those lines. Maybe somebody tries to whoop my ass. I'll pull my camera out and defend myself. I'm just saying. But anyways, I was hoping for open lines. Nope, it's too late. It's already 1 a.m. I've been dragging myself to 4 a.m. almost every single night. We got to get up and get things done and clipped up and going and packed for tomorrow. We will try to figure out a way to do some content, though, on the way down as well as while we are there. If you do want to join the support, make things happen, make things easier, buy me a beer, buy me some food. I mean, we're all over here. I'm just begging. Let me pull my hat out and open it up. Can you put something in there for me, sir? No, I'm just saying. If you want to join the support for the trip, be a part of it. Links in the description. Venmo, PayPal are the direct ways to support, the only ways to support. I want to thank the Super Chats, Colin, and you have been a direct supporter, so I'm not saying that. But, for instance, the Super Chats, I won't see those until middle of February, late February. So to directly support this Chili Bowl venture, like Colin Phillips has done, Venmo and PayPal links are in the description of this video. I'll send you another Venmo when my direct deposit hits. Well, thank you very much, sir. I would like if Dean Henry would support. He used to be a supporter. He said, fuck you, Chaz. We ain't here no more. Fuck you. You're a bum. You need to get drunk more and yell. Then I'll send you some Venmo. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, Dean. I'm messing with you. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. As it says down there, thanks for tuning in. Tune to the tunes until next time. You can search the Chaz on all your music platforms and listen to the songs that we have. Potentially might be working on a song to have on the other side of the Chili Bowl. We just got to take some film. We'll see what happens there. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in once again. We are going on the road to the Chili Bowl. As always, like the video, share it around. If you can't contribute, sharing is caring. Comment below with what you think. And always, be sure to subscribe. We will catch you next time. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
On my chest, facing problems down the depths. I'm ready to rip. I'm correct. I'm kissing the water. Hit my mind, took it instead. Indian honest, where my Honda strapped with Honda's ready to rip. Hey, jump on that track, ready to roll, ready to rip, ready to reach. Place my bets, hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal, peace with the soul, don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling, it's harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no, don't trip, gotta go. Take a slip, make a pass, a little low. Put it down the gas for a show. Let it pass on the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the photo. Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you want.